Hello students and welcome to Malhotra's IAS Academy. I'm Surbhi Sardana and today we are discussing a very important topic from current affairs. It's called LGBTQ rights in India, a demand for change. So see, as of now, a lot of news have been coming in the past 10 days regarding the LGBTQ community and their rights. So in this video, we'll see what is the status of rights which are allocated, which are given to LGBTQ community in India. We'll see what are the relevant cases of Supreme Court. ऐसे कौन से cases हैं judiciary के जो हमारे लिए exam के लिए important है with regards to this community. कौन से articles हैं constitution के जो कि किसी भी community के rights establish करते हैं. We'll also see what is the recent debate about. We'll also see the statistics worldwide, कहाँ पर कितने और किस तरीके के rights allocated है इस community के लोगों को. So first of all, you need to understand when we refer to the term LGBTQ, what do we mean by that? So see, LGBTQ, it is basically an umbrella term. Umbrella term का मतलब है कोई ऐसी एक term जो कि बहुत सारे लोगों को represent करने के लिए use की जाती है. So it is an umbrella term used to refer to people who identify themselves as L for lesbian, G for gay, B for bisexual, T for transgender, Q for questioning or queer, जिनकी जो जेंडर आइडेंटिटी है या तो वो समझ नहीं पा रहे हैं या वो एक्सप्रेस नहीं करना चाहते हैं. सो दैट इज क्वेश्चनिंग और क्वेयर जेंडर आइडेंटिटी. Now these news have been making headlines that Indian government opposes legalizing same-sex marriage but LGBTQ community optimistic. So Indian government has opposed legalizing same-sex marriages. Same-sex marriages are very vital to members of this community. If they have to get married, the personal laws में इनके marriage की कोई provisions नहीं हैं. There is this Special Marriage Act of central government. तो उसके under Supreme Court ने central government को बोला था कि या तो आप Special Marriage Act को amend कीजिए या हमें कोई ना कोई ऐसे rationale provide कीजिए कि आप वो amendments क्यों नहीं ला सकते हैं. So yes, this was the first headline, and the second headline, and a very shocking headline that has come up, that India's ban on gay transgender people from donating blood. What are the rules across the world? So basically India as of now, it bans gay and transgender people from donating blood. और ऐसा नहीं है कि इसको सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट ने जस्टिफाई नहीं किया. सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट हैज़ जस्टिफाइड दिस ऑन मेडिकल ग्राउंड्स, बट ऑल अक्रॉस द वर्ल्ड देयर आर मेनी कंट्रीज विच एक्चुअली अलाउ पीपल फ्रॉम दीज कम्युनिटीज़ टू डोनेट ब्लड. तो एक जो मेडिकल ग्राउंड इंडिया में जो जस्टिफाई किया जा चुका है, क्या वो दूसरी कंट्रीज़ में क्या वो नल एंड वॉइड हो जाता है? सो दीज हैव बीन द क्वेश्चंस कमिंग. द राइट्स, द डिमांड ऑफ राइट्स ऑफ दिस कम्युनिटी, दे हैव बीन गेनिंग मोमेंटम. सो लेट्स लुक एट दिस डिबेट वेरी क्लोजली. देखिए, जो इशू है यहाँ पर वो मैरिज के बारे में है. दैट मैरिजेस बिटवीन कपल्स ऑफ सेम सेक्स, बिटवीन अ मैन एंड बिटवीन अ वुमेन एंड अ वुमेन, और एनी वन ऑफ द LGBTQ community, they should have लीगल सैंक्शन. अब मैरिज होता क्या है? व्हाट इज अ मैरिज? बेसिकली मैरिज का जो हमारा अंडरस्टैंडिंग है, दैट वेरीज फ्रॉम कल्चर टू कल्चर, प्लेस टू प्लेस, रिलीजन टू रिलीजन. एक ट्राइबल सोसाइटी में मैरिज का डेफिनेशन अलग हो सकता है, एक सिविलाइज सोसाइटी में, एक अर्बन सोसाइटी में मैरिज का डेफिनेशन अलग हो सकता है. सो दिस इज द वाइडली एक्सेप्टेड डेफिनेशन ऑफ मैरिज दैट वी सी, दैट इट इज अ वॉलंटरी यूनियन ऑफ टू इक्वल्स वेयर नाइदर लूजेस देयर ऑटोनॉमी टू द अदर नॉर देयर पर्सनैलिटी. सो बेसिकली वॉलंटरी यूनियन है, दो लोग आपस में they come together to form a couple on their own will. The parties to the marriage, regardless of their sexuality, gender, they agree to a mutual bond to provide each other support. किस तरीके का support? Emotional support, financial support and sexual support to each other. Now in the above understanding of this marriage, if you look at the definition of marriage closely, अगर आप definition of marriage पर जाते हैं, which has been mentioned here, then the gender or sexuality of either party should be irrelevant for all legal purposes. If somebody feels that he or she can spend life happily and comfortably with another person, no matter from which gender or from which sex the other person comes from, then he or she should be allowed to get into a marital relationship with him. That marriage should be legally recognized. That is what we are trying to say. So in the above understanding of marriage, there should be no problem in the legal recognition of marriage. So yes, There are many couples, that's why, pertaining to the previous reasoning that we have given, there are many couples from the LGBTQ community who want to get married. अगर इन couples की आपस में शादी नहीं हुई होती है तो एक joint bank account तक नहीं खोल सकते हैं. Let's say they are staying together, they are just recognized as partners living in cohabitation. इनकी जो marriage है, even if आपका जो same sex couples living together, they are allowed. That is not illegal anymore in India. But the point is, if their marriages are not legally recognized, then they are not legally recognized as partners. और अगर कोई आपका legal partner होता है तो काफ़ी सारे benefits होते हैं, काफ़ी सारी चीज़ें होती हैं जो आप लोग इकट्ठे on a legal basis कर सकते हैं. For example, people cannot have a bank account with their partner if they're not married or their marriage is not legally recognized. They can't even have them as beneficiaries on their insurance, and they can't make end of life decisions. So that is the problem. So critics have argued that neither affection nor desire can be mandated by the law. Neither the choice of the partner nor the gender of the partner nor the relationship between the two can be mandated by the law. So basically a lot of critics are saying that the law or the state has nothing to do with it. It is just a personal choice. Choosing a partner is just a personal choice. So the claim of LGBTQ communities hence made in this context of equality, that if a man and a woman have the right to get their marriage legalized, to get their marriage recognized by the government, then why don't these couples have the same rights? So yes, the next argument is that Article 21 of our Constitution, that is fundamental right to life and liberty, that recognizes that right to choose a partner is intrinsic in the right to life and personal liberty. So under Article 21, your right to choose a life partner has also been covered. In fact, this has been asked by UPSC as a full-fledged independent question in 2019. So right to choose a life partner अगर आपका fundamental right है, so any life partner that a person is choosing should be legally recognized by the government. So see, let's look at the map. Where are the countries? ऐसी कौन सी countries हैं, कौन से regions में हैं जो कि they legally recognize marriages between partners of same sex. So if you look at this march to marriage equality, this source has been Human Rights Campaign has given us this data. This map has come from Human Rights Campaign. So just look closely at the countries in blue. आप ऐसे regions देखिए, ऐसी countries देखिए जो कि blue में marked है, तो वहाँ पर ऐसी marriages को legal माना जाता है. You look at North America here, all these countries of Canada, USA, Mexico, and look at countries of South America. So mostly these countries, they have legalized such marriages. आपका जो Western Europe वाला part है, वहाँ पर भी ऐसी marriages को legalize किया गया है. There is one country in Africa which has legalized this marriage. Obviously, your Australia and New Zealand have legalized such marriages. Look at Asia. एशिया का आप क्लियर पिक्चर देखिए, एशिया को ऑन द होल देखिए. देयर इज जस्ट वन कंट्री इन एशिया विच हैज़ legalized same-sex marriage, and this is the country called Taiwan. So all over the world there are just 30 countries जो कि ऐसी marriages को legal recognition provide करती हैं, and in Asia there is just one country which is Taiwan which has provided legal recognition to same-sex marriages. Now let's look at the data further. So yes, despite gradual shifts, Asian and most developing countries have been slow to grant LGBTQ rights. Across the world, about 30 countries recognize gay marriages or same-sex marriages. In Asia, Taiwan is the only country that recognizes this marriage, this kind of marriage. And India, why is India important and why are we discussing this issue? Because India's case is being closely watched in countries like Thailand, Greece, Japan, South Korea, where similar debates are gaining momentum. तो सिर्फ इंडिया में ही नहीं, एशिया की ऐसी बहुत सारी countries हैं, just like your Thailand, Greece, Japan and South Korea, where demand for rights of LGBTQ community for recognizing, for legalizing their marriages is going up. So yes, the debates in India, they are looked at closely. Plus, we are the biggest democracy of the world. We are, we provide all kinds of rights to citizens and non-citizens. in our country. और हमारा जो constitution है, it is being applauded all over the world. Plus how our executive, legislature and judiciary functions, and especially how judiciary takes a stand for providing rights to people, for providing rights to vulnerable sections of population, that has been lauded all over the world. So that's why this debate, this ongoing debate of the previous week, that is being closely watched all over the world. Now this is there is your Equaldex करके आपकी एक वेबसाइट है. Equaldex बेसिकली ये क्या करते हैं, जो LGBTQ राइट्स के लिए जो भी कंट्रीज काम करती हैं, जो भी लॉज या प्रोविजंस पास किए जाते हैं, उसका रिकॉर्ड मेंटेन करते हैं. एंड बेस्ड ऑन द रिकॉर्ड, बेस्ड ऑन द एफर्ट्स अ कंट्री इज पुटिंग, दे एक्चुअली स्कोर कंट्रीज आउट ऑफ 100. So if you can see here the score of India, that is equality index for the LGBTQ community, how many efforts or how much level of efforts India has taken to provide rights to the LGBTQ community, that is your 63 out of 100. 100 is the maximum score, means वो country LGBTQ community के लिए बहुत ही ज़्यादा equitable, बहुत ही equality वाले rights हैं वहाँ पर, equality वाला environment है, and it is very convenient for such people to live there. But in India the score is just 63 out of 100, and just to be honest, it is much better than many other countries all over the world. So yes, there are some other rights. First of all, homosexuality, having a partner which comes from the same sex, that is legal in India. There is no censorship with regards to that. Discrimination is illegal. Adoption, same-sex couples, they are not allowed for adoption, but single partners, single people, single parents can adopt children. Conversion therapy is banned, and changing gender is legal, but it requires surgery. And employment discrimination, it does not exist. Age of consent, that is also equal. There is no bar regarding age of consent with respect to men and women. Donating blood, look at this picture here, which has been the topic of debate. Donating blood, it is banned. It is banned for these for the people of this community. Donating blood is banned, and hence that's why the score is not 100. It is somewhere around 63. So let's look at India's scenario closely. हम थोड़े rights India के और closely देखते हैं. 2014 में क्या होता है, basically in 2014 there was this NALSA judgment. In NALSA judgment, or National Legal Services Authority, NALSA judgment of 2014 by Supreme Court held that apart from male and female, there should be a separate column in forms and elections for the recognition of third gender. So your recognition of third gender by Supreme Court, basically the transgenders, they got recognition here. So that was provided by the Supreme Court for the first time. So any person who does not recognize himself or herself as male or female respectively could tick on the column with parallel to third gender. So third gender establishment, recognition of identity of the third gender was given by the Supreme Court for the first time in 2014. Then in 2018 there was this landmark case. It was known as Navtej Singh Johar versus Union of India. इसमें क्या है, आपका एक section 377 है, which is very important here. Section 377, what does it say? Section 377, it makes sexual activities against the order of nature illegal, और ये colonial law है. It was enacted by the British government when India was under colonial rule. तो जब इंडिया ब्रिटिशर्स के रूल के अंडर था, तब ये सेक्शन इनैक्ट किया गया था, और उसके बाद इसको छेड़ा नहीं गया. So according to this section, any people from the LGBTQ community, if they had like intimate relations with each other, that was illegal and that was punishable. So many of them were put into jails, many of the fines were imposed, and hence this community was suffering a lot at the hands of Indian law and lawmakers itself. So in 2018 this was a landmark judgment. इस judgment में क्या होता है, section 377 को हटाया नहीं गया, बट इट वॉज रिकग्नाइज कि सेक्शन 377 में आपके जो LGBTQ कपल्स हैं, दे विल नॉट बी कवर्ड, बिकॉज अंडर आर्टिकल 21 इट इज़ देयर राइट टू चूज देयर लाइफ पार्टनर, एंड दिस आर्टिकल 21 also covers your right to privacy. So nobody, not even the state, can intervene in their choices. So section 377, it was declared unconstitutional with respect to when it criminalizes consensual sexual conduct between adults of the same sex. So yes, adults have to be there. So after this, the LGBTQ community, they got a lot of rights. So the court also found that the criminalization of sexual acts between consenting adults violated the right to equality, not just right to life but right to equality as well, which is guaranteed by the Constitution of India. While reading the judgment, the then Chief Justice of India, that was Mr. Deepak Mishra, pronounced that the court found criminalizing carnal intercourse to be irrational, arbitrary and manifestly unconstitutional. And in fact इसके बाद कोर्ट ने apologize भी किया था. They asked for an apology from the LGBTQ community and these people for the delay in ensuring their rights. So now, coming back to the demand for legalizing marriages for this community. If you have to legalize marriage for any community, आपके अगर personal laws provide नहीं करते हैं, what do? If any of the type of marriage is not recognized under your personal laws, what you resort to is the Special Marriages Act of 1954. So yes, the Special Marriages Act of 1954 provides a civil form of marriage for couples who cannot marry under their personal law, thus validating and registering interreligious and intercaste marriages in India. तो interreligious और intercaste marriages अगर होती हैं तो वो Special Marriages Act के अंडर legalized हैं. Under this act they have been legalized. So now the Supreme Court had sought the government's response to appeals for allowing same-sex marriage under this SMA 1954 in a bid to provide legal sanction to widening social customs. So now सुप्रीम कोर्ट के पास बहुत ज़्यादा अपील्स जा रही थी LGBTQ कम्युनिटी से. अपील्स वर रिगार्डिंग दैट देयर मैरिजेस शुड बी लीगलाइज्ड. सो द सुप्रीम कोर्ट सेज दैट वी आर द जुडिशरी. हम लॉज नहीं बना सकते. हम जो डिस्क्रिमिनेटरी सेक्शंस हैं हम उनको स्ट्राइक डाउन कर सकते हैं. इफ देयर इज़ एनी लॉ दैट इज़ अनकॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल वी कैन स्ट्राइक दैट डाउन एंड वी कैन डिक्लेयर इट एज अनकॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल. बट any new law which recognizes any new type of marriages से मेरा कहने का मतलब है कि जो पहले recognize नहीं थी इंडिया में legally. So these type of marriages they have to be recognized by a law. और law कौन पास करता है? आपका legislature और the government has to be answerable to it. So Supreme Court ने government का response मांगा था कि जो इतनी सारी appeals आ रही हैं आप उनको उनसे regarding आप क्या कर रहे हैं? Please establish a rational argument here. The petition argued that the SMA 1954 petition जितनी भी आई थी Supreme Court ने उन्होंने argue किया कि जो Special Marriage Act 1954 है was ultra virus to the Constitution as it denies same-sex couples both legal rights as well as the social recognition and status that came from marriage. तो आपकी जो मैरिज से जो भी लीगल राइट्स आते हैं, जो सोशल स्टेटस आता है कि जो रिकग्निशन आपको समाज में या सोसाइटी में मिल जाती है, पीपल start looking at you with respect, they start respecting your bond. So that was denied to this LGBTQ community, that is still being denied to this LGBTQ community. तो ना सिर्फ आपका right to equality, आपका right to life भी hurt हो रहा है. So the petitioners thus emphasized to make the 1954 Act gender neutral, which discriminates between same-sex couples and opposite-sex couples. So they say, the petitioners say कि opposite-sex couples तो आपने recognize किए हुए हैं, you have recognized opposite-sex couples under this act, but same-sex couples they are being discriminated. So make this law gender neutral, male और female या man and women का जो भी आपने couplehood recognize किया है, just delete it from there and make this law gender neutral. So what are the issues with same-sex marriages in India? Here we are talking about general issues जो कि हमारी society में prevalent है. Then we'll look at the affidavit that has been given by central government to the Supreme Court कि central government ने इस जो पिछली argument हमने यहाँ पर देखा है इसके आगे क्या response दिया है Supreme Court में. So what are the issues with same-sex marriages in India? First of all, आपको एक social sanction नहीं मिलता है in most parts of the country. So yes, marriage often functions like a social pact between two families. देखिए बहुत ही commonly बोला जाता है that in India marriages are not between two people but they are between two families. So if the families agree with it, only then marriage happens, or there are higher chances of being a marriage or successful alliance if the families actually recognize it. So many Indians object to homosexuality on moral grounds because even more tolerant families they pressure their children to pick partners of the opposite sex and similar background. अगर families को पता भी लग जाता है कि उनके जो उनका ऑफस्प्रिंग है उसकी जो ओरिएंटेशन है वो एक वो सोसाइटी के स्टैंडर्ड्स को मैच नहीं करती, वो एक स्ट्रेट ओरिएंटेशन नहीं है, तब भी वो उस ऑफस्प्रिंग को, उस एडल्ट ऑफस्प्रिंग को भी दे एक्चुअली टेंड टू फोर्स दैट पर्सन टू चूज अ partner for marriage from the opposite sex so that their so-called respect is not hurt in the society, and they're not questioned by the society. So in pockets of the country, especially outside of the bigger cities, the consequences of living openly can be severe. बहुत ज़्यादा जगह harassment होती है, social isolation होता है, there are few protections in the workplace as well, and workplace में हो सकता है discrimination भी बहुत ज़्यादा हो, and a frightening vulnerability to sexual abuse with limited legal recourse. There have been cases where it has been said that even the legal authorities, जो आपकी legal authorities हैं या जो आपकी adjudication authorities है, they do not treat these people equally or with respect to start with. So what is the recent affidavit about? हमने issues discuss किया है, हमने देखा इंडिया में क्या सिनारियो चल रहा है, तो सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट ने क्या रीजंस दिए हैं या क्या आपने एफिडेविट में फाइल किया है. सो दिस मे और मे नॉट बी लाइक्ड बाय यू. सो बेसिकली एक ऐसा इशू है जो अभी भी इट इज़ अ बॉइलिंग इशू, एंड व्हाट हैपेंस इन फ्यूचर वी आर येट टू सी. बट येस, रिकग्निशन ऑफ राइट्स, द बेसिक राइट्स ऑफ marriage of any community, that is essential for a democracy, that is essential for establishing right to equality. So first of all, the center has opposed Supreme Court petitions seeking recognition of same-sex marriage. So central government ने हामी नहीं भरी है, central government has opposed them. Also, the union government said that Parliament has designed and framed the marriage laws in the country, particularly with respect to Special Marriages Act of 1954, which are governed by the personal laws, codified laws relatable to customs of various religious communities, to recognize only the union of a man and a woman to be capable of legal sanction. तो सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट क्या बोल रही है कि जो हमने लॉज बनाए हैं विद रिगार्ड्स टू मैरिज इन द कंट्री, दे आर बेसिकली कोडिफिकेशन ऑफ पर्सनल लॉज. जैसे पर्सनल लॉज प्रिवेल करते हैं, उन्हीं के in alignment with those we have created marriage laws in the country, and under those laws एक legal sanction जो है marriage का, that can only happen when a marriage happens between a man and a woman, and thereby claim legal and statutory rights and consequences, and any interference with the same would cause a complete havoc with the delicate balance of personal laws in the country and in accepted societal values. So basically central government has totally denied that it would accept or it would legalize marriages of LGBTQ community or any time in future. So the center has argued that the principles of legitimate state interest. Now see, what we have been debating about, we have been debating with regards to Article 21 कि right to choose a life partner is protected as a fundamental right under Article 21, but the central government says कि आपके fundamental rights में exceptions भी हैं. And what is the exception in Article 21? It says that the principles of legitimate state interest, which are an exception to life and liberty under Article 21, would apply in this case. So they say that हम यहाँ पर एक exception को activate कर रहे हैं, and the exception to Article 21 is legitimate state interest. Otherwise what would happen, अगर ये exception को activate नहीं किया जाता तो country में there would be a havoc in the पर्सनल लॉज एंड सोसाइटल वैल्यूज़ और पर्सनल लॉज में जो एक डेलिकेट बैलेंस मेंटेन किया हुआ है वो एक डिजास्टरस सिचुएशन में पहुंच जाएगा. सो दिस वाज द रीसेंट एफिडेविट एंड इट हैज़ बीन कंटेंडेड एंड इट हैज़ बीन क्रिटिसाइज्ड ऑन वेरियस प्लेटफॉर्म्स, नॉट जस्ट national but global platforms. So we are yet to see how the rights of this community are recognized further. We are already we've already seen that how section 377 was decriminalized, kaise third gender has been recognized. There are many places in the country where the prefix FMX is used. For example, if you are a male, female, you use the word MS or Mr. or Mrs. or Miss. So the prefix MX is used in many places in and around the country, especially in Chandigarh, for for the third gender. If somebody does not want to identify himself herself as a male or female respectively, then they can use this prefix MX behind their name, with their name. So now try this question. This was asked by UPSC in Civil Services Examination 2019. Which article of the Constitution of India safeguards one's right to marry the person of one's choice? So we have basically discussed it throughout this video. This is your article 21 article, the right option is B, that is article 21, right to life. So right to marry is a part of right to life under article 21 of the Indian Constitution. Although it is not specifically mentioned in the Constitution, obviously आपका जो Supreme Court है from time to time it keeps on expanding the ambit of fundamental rights, or the definition of fundamental rights. It is expanded from time to time according to the needs and demands of time by the Supreme Court or by the judiciary. So although it is not specifically mentioned in the Constitution, it has been inserted in article 21 by the Honorable Supreme Court of India by virtue of article 32. It is also stated under the Human Rights Charter within the meaning of the right to start a family. So yes, this was the entire discussion for today. I hope this discussion helps you in your civil services journey. I'll see you soon with another topic of importance for your exam preparation. Till then, stay tuned to our channel and all the best.